Hello and welcome, everybody. My name is Silvia Mordini, and I am the founder of Mindfully in Love. I've been doing the work of guiding people into their most positive changes, their most desired transformations for over 20 years. And so I've put together this Visioning Workbook that I hope you've downloaded, or take a moment to press pause on this video right now and download the PDF. It's going to look just like this. And you could print it double-sided because that'll be plenty perfect for this experience. So do that. And then the next most important thing is just to be comfortable. Like, put something on that feels easeful, get something to drink if that helps, and set the timer for at least 15 minutes and then see how it goes. But really dedicate this time from yourself to yourself. The way that we start something is the way that we end something. So the power of initiations, the ritual of beginning the new year and setting the foundation and the tone is really essential in all ways. So let's do this. If you're sitting in a chair, just sit a little bit taller with your spine more upright. Put your feet flat on the floor, uncross your legs. If you're sitting on the floor or on the couch, just sit a little bit more tidy, and then close your eyes. Take a big breath in through your nose. Open mouth exhalation. And then allow yourself to simply watch your breath and watch your thoughts. Notice where you've come from. Notice where your thoughts are right now. Be aware of the warmth that you feel or the coolness that you feel in your body, the somatic expression of how you're feeling, whether it's more fatigued or energized or anxious or very even-keeled and peaceful. Just be aware of what you're feeling. What your thoughts, what your breath simply say about this moment right now. Inhale deeply. Exhale out your mouth. And then just put your hands flat over the center of your heart. And just notice the beating of your heart. You have 8,760 hours this year. Think of this as currency. And if I gave you that amount of money, how do you want to spend it? Take another big breath in. Exhaling. And then open your eyes. Release your hands. So one of the things that often overwhelms us is thinking about day one of the year, of an entire year. And it's heavy. It feels so momentous and just so big, right? So instead, I really encourage you, first and foremost, to reframe a year and instead think of it in hours. That will right away start to heal any time scarcity, like I don't have enough time to do all the things that I want to do. And it will help you to just break down into smaller parts your greater intentions. And so that's what we'll do here, going through the Visioning Guidebook, so that you can see that there's little stepping stones, and like a treasure map, this then leads us step by step towards our greater visions and our intentions. All right? So there's no need to worry if you don't have any idea of what you want in terms of intentions or have a vision for this year. let's think about it in hours, and let's begin even before the beginning. So this is your Visioning Workbook, and you'll find a loving welcome letter from me. Dreams are seeds of change. Nothing ever grows without a seed, and nothing ever changes without a dream. One of my favorite quotes from Debbie Boone. So we are at this point where everything that has come before us, all the challenges, the difficulties, the things that are easy, all of that movement through our lives tills the soil. And now the soil is fertile to plant those things that we want to grow. But we need to get clarity on what it is that we want to grow. If your desire is to have tomatoes this season in your garden, but you plant potatoes, no matter what, you're not going to get tomatoes because you planted potatoes. And so let's be really clear about the seeds that we're planting, and then you'll see that everything that you wish to manifest comes to fruition more easily, just as a result of that. If you turn the page, the table of contents is organized into 6 parts, and it's really the 5 parts of the program besides the introduction. And these are organized into these 5 C's, because I want you not just to do this program in this packet now, but I want it to be easily memorizable so that you can go back and you can check in on a monthly basis or whenever you need to and go, okay, where is that point that I need to chuck back in? So the steps, the component parts are clarity, choice, commitment, compassion, and then we create a vision. So notice we're not starting with creating a vision. First, let's get clarity. Let's check into our choices and then really tap into our commitment, all with great compassion from ourselves to ourselves. If you want to change the fruits, you will first have to change the roots. If you want to change the visible, you must first change the invisible. And this is from Harv Eker, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. It's the same thing written in a lot of different writings from both spiritual background, positive psychology, of all sorts. The same sort of concept, right? No different than the little story about the garden. You know, where do we change? Well, we change at the root base. We change at the seed, at the beginning, in order then to see what it is that we want to flower and flourish from there. So part of this program is really so much about helping you get clarity about what the seeds are that you wish to plant. What are you growing this year in your life? So part 1, clarity. Decide what matters most in your life. Too often what happens is that we get distracted away from what matters most. And one of the most important parts of successful manifesting is to prioritize what's most important. So we need to have clarity on what is it that's most important to you, not last year, not to someone else, not what you think you should do, but what is literally most important to you in your heart right now. So seeking clarity. And one easy way to do that in, I believe, a really fast track, rather than taking 2 hours to move through this, is to determine your non-negotiables. So non-negotiables are the next couple 3-4 pages. And it may seem like a pretty self-explanatory word, but just in case you've not heard of a non-negotiable, it's a thing you do every single day without negotiations. It's not situational. It's not a nice to have, maybe, if I can. These are the things that you lay out that are 100% certain as your non-negotiables. So we can break the non-negotiables down into categories, if you will. And that's what I've done in your workbook. And you'll find in comments, I've posted what my non-negotiables are for this year, so that you can see a complete list, but you already have other examples here. So for example, a food non-negotiable. I happen to be a vegetarian, but maybe for you, it's about eating keto this year. Maybe it's about only organic food. Maybe it's a plant-based diet. Whatever it may be, there are some non-negotiables that you have that you can maintain and that you are very, very clear. There are some things that you already have clarity about. And the more we put these things together, the greater and stronger that light of clarity becomes. Perhaps it's not eating after 10 o'clock at night. Maybe it's not eating processed food. Perhaps it's not eating anything with GMOs. But write down a couple of these that you know are related to food. Then sleep non-negotiables. I know that you have clarity about what matters most when it comes to sleep. Just like you have clarity about what matters most when it comes to eating. You know, somebody could offer me chicken, steak, and I've been a vegetarian since I was 10. I'm very, very clear. I'm not going to eat those. I don't have to wonder. It's not like maybe sort of today, not tomorrow. But the same with sleep. You know how little or how much sleep you need to work at a more optimal level. And so write that down. And what does that sleep or sleep rituals look like to you? For some people, they won't have a TV in their bedroom where they sleep. Other people will turn their phones off 2 to 3 hours before they go to sleep. Yet others will say, I won't watch any TV for the hour before I fall asleep. And maybe your ritual becomes you need this number of hours and you're going to go to bed at this time and wake up at this time as a result in a consistent way. But be realistic and set a sleep non-negotiable or two that really makes sense for you to maintain clarity day in and day out. The next one is exercise non-negotiables. And I can't say enough, be realistic, be more pragmatic than not. So if you start off and you say, I'm going to exercise 3 hours a day, is that truly possible? And does that make you feel very confident or already produce anxiety and overwhelm? Because you know by day 4, it's maybe not going to happen. So you'll see here, I put down for myself, going for a 20-minute walk every single day. Now for you, you could say 15-minute walk 3 times a week or 10-minute walk once a week. But be specific. That again helps you stay clear, and clarity is like setting boundaries. Those boundaries then set up expectations for yourself, and we're more easily able to maintain those expectations if we know what they are. It feels safer, more stable for all of us. Or perhaps doing an X number of push-ups or sit-ups each day or each week. I love that example that every time you go to the bathroom, do 2 push-ups. All right, easy enough, easy to remember, very specific, and more so doable than not. For me, I also include yoga. So one of my non-negotiables is to do 5 sun salutations every morning. The reason I chose sun salutations is that it's a set series of poses, one after the other. And sun salutation A is a fundamental building block of yoga, and I don't have to think about it. If I have to think about it, organize myself, and spend 20 minutes just trying to contemplate what to do, then I actually won't get any exercise done. I need something that I can go to and it's reliable. And for me, there's a sameness, and I can just do it and do it tomorrow and do it tomorrow. And 5 may not seem like a lot to you, or it may seem like a lot, but that's a number that feels really resonant with me. So like walking, doing 5 sun salutations, 10 squats every day, whatever it may be for you, just write that down. And then examples of breathing non-negotiables. I do my breathing exercises in bed every morning after I meditate. And I have exact breathing exercises that I do. Kapalabhati breathing, the breath of fire, to help tone my belly and to get my energy going in the center of my body, and to build the energy up, get more oxygenated blood flow, to wake up. Therefore, I'm not relying on caffeine so much. And then alternate nostril breathing to balance the right and the left sides of my brain, and just start the day very clear-headed. And I know exactly how long I do those breathing exercises, set with a timer on my phone. And I do those every single day. If I do extras, fantastic, but I do at least those two breathing exercises every day. For you, it might be at lunch every day, you take 4 deep breaths. Before you go to bed, while you're just about to fall asleep, you take 2 deep breaths and big sighs out your mouth. It doesn't have to be complicated. In fact, the less complicated it is, the more you're going to stay with it. Examples of meditation or mindfulness, non-negotiables. It could be eating a meal in silence once a week. It could be meditating a certain number of minutes per day, every 3 times a week, 5 times a week, whatever feels realistic for you. And a nature non-negotiable, you could look at this as weekly or monthly. And do you want to say that it is important to your mental and physical health to get out in nature on a weekly basis? Or is it something you need on a daily basis, that for 1 minute each day, you will go outside, no matter the temperature or the circumstance, and just be outside in the fresh air? Is that something that seems doable for 1 minute a day? Or do you need more? I know for myself, I am very clear, as I know that you are, about the time you need from nature to feel better, and to feel more calm, less anxious, more balanced, more stable, more grounded. I know you know that. So write that down. And then an example of a fun non-negotiable. I like to literally set the course to say that I'm going to take an adventure. I'm going to try something new once a month. So 12 times in the year, I'm going to try something new, which feels like an adventure. Now, it might mean take a dance class. It might mean ride my bike on a new path. It might mean take a cooking class. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't have to be exotic or expensive. It could literally all be free as well. But to me, that's fun. So think about, for you, what are the non-negotiables for fun? Because when we lack clarity, one of the things that goes away and gets diminished is our sense of being carefree, having fun, making time for play. And I can't say this enough, but power comes from our pleasure. It's a really important non-negotiable to include. And then examples of attitudes: practice gratitude, to be kind, to do things that spread love, to live with passion, to tell the truth, and to surround yourself with others that tell the truth, to create really healthy environments. So those are examples, but what are those non-negotiables? So for me, the truth. I cannot and will not be with anyone that doesn't tell the truth. I will not let them in my close energy zone. I am not interested in being friends with people that don't tell the truth. And I don't want to live in environments that are not truthful. Those containers are really toxic for me. I don't want to work for employers that are like that. And I uphold truth as the minimum standard for myself. And that's what I expect from other people. When people don't tell the truth, as a clairsentient, I get nervous and I literally start to shake, and it doesn't feel good. My breath shortens and it feels really distressing. So a non-negotiable for me, because I don't want to feel bad, is truth, and within and around me. So those are some examples. Take a look in comments for my complete list. Then part 2, choice. From clarity, the first C, we go to choice. The second C, choose how you want to live and where you want to grow. Choose wisely. And you'll see then that there's a 1-page exercise to do. And first of all, just take a moment to write down some of the things you desire the most in this year ahead. This year that's coming, that's right there laid before us. What do you desire the most? What are some things that you desire? Some examples that I can give from my life. I desire peaceful prosperity, easeful abundance, freedom to choose how I spend my time, where I spend my time, and with whom I spend my time. I desire more play, more lightheartedness, more joyful opportunities to relax and to rest, so that I avoid being overtired or overextending myself. But think about, it could be anything from, maybe you desire this year is financial wealth. Then write that down, and you have the clarity. There's no need to hide it from yourself. Maybe you desire a beloved, your soulmate, and you're calling them in. Fantastic. Write that down. So then on the worksheet, you'll see there's a first column and a second column. Those things that you've written as desires, those are sort of like a GPS, right? And so then you'll write down the things I do related to the things you desire that bring you closer to your desires. What things do you do that bring you closer to your desires? What things do you do that take you further away from your desires? So there are things that we do that you already know that will move you closer, and things that will move you further away. So for example, not checking in on your desires, not staying tuned in and focused upon what your desires are. Writing this out and then 5 months from now checking in only once and letting another 5 months go by. That's either going to take you towards your desires or further away. I'm going to guess it's going to take you further away. You have 60,000 thoughts a day that are either moving you towards the desires that you have or further away from them, especially if you're not paying them attention and living life by accident. Then, how I treat myself. What are the things you do and how you treat yourself that move you closer to those things you most desire? And how do you treat yourself that moves you further away from the things that you desire the most? So I'll give you an example. Allowing things to get disorganized, not staying timely, with things. For me personally, when I allow that to happen, then I move further away from my desires. If I go into any fear space and I stay stuck in fear and I'm not doing the things that I need to do to reduce anxiety and stress, then I go away from my desires. So what do I do? How do I treat myself? Well, I treat myself with compassion, with gentle, loving awareness. And then my daily habits, the next part that move me towards my desires, is I meditate, I practice yoga, I practice mindfulness, I'm out in nature, I need to move and breathe and exercise every day, I stay true to my food non-negotiables, because basically what I've just recited were the things that we did in the first exercise on clarity. You'll find that all of those things fit this left side column of the things you do, how you treat yourself, your daily habits, and what I'm feeling that moves you towards your desires. And there should be a relationship between your non-negotiables and moving you closer to your desires. If you find that there's a lot of your non-negotiables that move you away from your desires, then obviously something's not in sync and in alignment. And then that's a really great opportunity to look at that and figure out, why are these things your non-negotiables? Are your desires really yours? Or are they what you think you should do? Or are they somebody else's desires? It'll show any sort of misalignment. But what I'm feeling, if you're like, for me, when I'm feeling peaceful, content, calm, centered, present, focused, clear, I'm moving towards my desires. However, when I'm feeling over fatigued, stressed out, overwhelmed, afraid, not trusting, agitated, aggravated, anxious, then those types of feelings, I know I'm moving further away from my desires. So really take time to write those out. And I encourage you to have a little talk with a friend about just this one page, and it could really set the tone for this new year. Now, part 3, the third C, is commitment. Make commitments that align with your vision. Commit to you, in other words. Commit to you. So manifesting meaningful change first asks that we step back and ask ourselves some key questions in order to have an opportunity to live more meaningful and fulfilling lives. So I've designed some journaling questions, not too many, not too few, that will help you to see where you can gain further commitment, or where you've lacked commitment and now can amp it up from you to you. One of my favorite mantras is, I make my life and no one else makes it for me, right? I make my life and no one else makes it for me. So the first question, how do I want to feel in the coming year? How do I want to feel in the coming year? Even right now, just write something down, and then if you need more time, press pause on this video and finish writing to your heart's content. And then know that you can press play again. How do I want to feel in the coming year? When you think about or look and read your desires that we just looked at in the previous exercise, what is your most audacious desire for the year ahead? And very likely it's not on that list. Those were desires for this year, but this is like something completely audacious. What is your most audacious desire for this year? And if this year, these next thousands of hours if that's overwhelming. And maybe it's more like, for my life or this decade. But what's coming up? What is your most audacious desire? How can I play bigger in my life story? And so if you print this out, you're going to have ample space, only 2 questions per page. Or write these in a journal. How can I play bigger in my life story? How can I play bigger in my life story? Something we can do is center our life around us. If you've been putting yourself in the role of the understudy and not even casting yourself in the starring role of your life, then this is the time right now to literally play bigger by putting yourself in that lead role. You are the star and the main character in your own life story. So as you think about how you can play bigger, is there any part of you that has had a difficult time being seen, coming forward, being authentic, being yourself, trusting your intuition? But overall, how can you just show up in your own light and not hold back and play small? The next writing prompt: what excites me or scares me about 2022? What excites me or scares me about this year? What excites me or scares me? And there are some things I found that both excite me and scare me, and it's the same thing. Sort of a funny fine line sometimes. And there are certainly things that I have that only excite me and those things that do scare me. But it's interesting to see those places where the same thing is bringing about both those feelings. But it's an important list to think about what excites you. The next writing prompt: how do I want this year to be different? If you haven't had an opportunity to look at my goodbye journaling workbook, that's full of writing prompts and exercises to gain the wisdom of the previous year, to look back and say thank you, and to some beautiful writing prompts that I've put together over 20 plus years to gain that knowledge and the wisdom of where you've been. So from that, how do you want this year to be different? And know that that video and that downloadable PDF is available for you as well. But how do you want this year to be different? Sometimes it's looking back and saying, like, these things were missing, and so this is how I want things to be different. Or perhaps you just have this awareness of your own heart's commitment to how you know, if you ask your heart, how you want things to be different. And then these key things give me strength and inspiration. What key things give you strength and inspiration? Could be key things, people, places. The next writing prompt: what will I invent that would give me more choices? And before you say, I can't invent anything, actually, we are always living in this world of possibility first when it comes to the work of setting intentions and manifestation. So we start from possibility. is there something you need to invent that would make things easier and make it feel like you had more choices? How did last year help you? How will it help you manifest what you most desire in this year? Having lived through last year, how will it help you manifest what you want in this year? I have to say, I came out more motivated. When I have a really difficult year, a challenging year, it fuels me to want to live bigger and to be even ever more committed to how I want to manifest my life. And then when I go back and I assess, like, why was it such a challenging year? So often for me, it feels like living life by accident. So I know that I have to stay the course, and in order to manifest the kind of life that I want. The next writing prompt, write a list of what excites you. In this year, what excites you? And it could be anything. It could be small things, big things, just anything and everything. You could draw pictures. It doesn't even have to be words. It doesn't have to be in a paragraph form. It could be bullet points. It doesn't have to make any sense. Whatever is coming to mind. It could be colors. You know, I remember years where what excites me is the color blue, blues and greens. And then all of a sudden I'm like, I need more blues and greens. And that amps me up. And what does that mean? Oh, I want to spend more time by the water. I want to be able to see the ocean or visit the ocean. And taking, regular baths, whatever it may be. But I can see in the things that excite me a sort of through line that connects them. And that's really then also equally exciting to connect the dots for myself. And then if you look at that list or pictures of what excites you, does it help support you in waking up each day with enthusiasm? If you look at that list, does it motivate you, inspire you to wake up with enthusiasm? And whatever you're feeling is right. And can you just connect to that commitment and that feeling? And then finally, writing a list of commitments. Commitment statements are really powerful statements from you to you. For this is your life, and there is no do-over for today. There's no do-over for tomorrow. So what are you committed to in your life? And I wrote some of these, or actually these are my commitments. I commit to offering compassion to those parts of me that need it. I commit to being assertive in love. I commit to trusting my intuition. It's a big one for me. I commit to creating more self-care rituals. I commit to showing my true self. I commit to receiving compassion. What do you commit to? And one way to do this is to just write, I commit, I commit, I commit, I commit 10, 20 times, and then go back and then very quickly, whatever stream of consciousness comes up, just fill in those blanks. Doesn't have to make sense, no certain order, don't worry about it, but first just write out, I commit, I commit, commit, and then go back. Otherwise, you can just go through what's coming up for you. I commit to this. Or if any of my commitment statements resonate with you, or a version of this inspires you, by all means, make these your own as well. And then I encourage you to share these, especially with someone close, a good friend, somebody that's in your support system, right? Your soul family, your soul tribe. Finally, part 4, show compassion to yourself as a reminder of why you do what you do. Show compassion to yourself as a reminder of why you do what you do. And you'll see there's some affirmations. These are some of my favorites for self-compassion. Because at the end of the day, we're making our best attempt. There's a lot that we don't know. There's a lot that we do know. And the way to stay the course when it comes to intentions is to have compassion. It's why New Year's resolutions are always such a failure, is that it's easy to beat ourselves up. Day 3, when we haven't, done whatever big thing it is that we thought we would do. And then that self-compassion keeps us in it rather than giving up. Be gentle with yourself. Hold your heart in the most loving way. I am in love with taking care of myself. I adopt the mindset to praise myself. I fully approve of who I am. I speak to myself with kindness. I am a priority in my own life. I am a priority in my own life. I give myself breaks from working too hard. And if there are other affirmations that are arising, write those down too. Or if you need to keep a copy of this on your phone, do that. I am ready for change. Part 5, make the changes that will bring joy, fulfillment, and happiness into your life. Create a vision. So we did all of that preparation, because the preparation is golden, before we even get to creating a vision and writing intentions. So if it means you need to take a break now and come back to this the next day, let this just percolate, very well. Or if you feel like, no, I'm going to stay the course, I'm like continuing this on right now. Everything you do, allow yourself to make it a messy first draft. It doesn't have to come out of the pen, or if you're typing, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just let it come out, and then, we can always go back and edit, and there's reiteration after reiteration. So don't worry. I put together for you 22 things to focus on this year. Very simple things, because I'm a big fan of doable intentions, right? If we start with everything just so enormous, it's hard to stay motivated because it's overwhelming. So write your vision for this year and allow yourself to know that it can be rewritten. If it needs to be first made as a vision board, you'll find that I have a free course and video on how to make a vision board based on my 20 years of guiding vision board workshops. And if it needs to just be drawn, draw it. Or if it's coming out in words, equally fantastic, then write it out. And then write 3 to 5 intention statements for this year. Not 10 or 20, 50, 100, way too many. That's now already creating distraction. So don't let the noise back in. Stay with clarity, right? Make sure you're choosing wisely and limited 3 to 5. And that way you can maintain commitment to those that you care the most about and have compassion for yourself as you show up each day manifesting these intentions and bringing them to life. I've put on the following page intention setting pointers. We write intentions as active tense, short, memorizable, in your own words. There's no need to be a smarty pants and think you're going to impress somebody by writing intention statements that are long and laborious, and because then we won't memorize them. And if you can't memorize them and repeat them to yourself every day, then they're not going to be as powerful. So write how you speak and keep them short, but eliminate any of the iffy languaging. No more I wish, I hope, even I pray. Like, instead, write the intention statements. One method is to write them as I am statements, right? Because the brain then believes that it's already happening. The brain already believes it's happening in the now moment. And therefore then it manifests more quickly because it already is happening. And let them be measurable, both qualitatively and quantitatively. If you have questions on what that looks like, check the examples in my intention workbook and course as well. How to set intention as an art form. But make sure overall in these 3 to 5 intentions that you're passionate about them. Look at what you wrote about, what you're excited about, what will help you wake up with enthusiasm each day. What makes you excited about this year. It's to live a life of passion with purpose. Yeah. But equally the other way, to live with purpose, but with passion. We have to be excited about the way that we're living and what it is that we're manifesting in order to draw that magnetic energy and light it up. And in your heart, you must believe that the intentions are possible. In your heart, 51% of your energy, of your body, of your beliefs must believe that it's possible. I'm not saying 100% of the constituents of you have to believe each of the intentions is possible, but 51%, a majority, in your heart, most of all. So this is a beautiful beginning, and I'll leave you with this, 2 of the quotes. I open myself to the potential within me, that which I now desire to be made manifest in my life. I recognize that I am a force for good in this world, and that it is my natural energy to create, to enhance, and to prosper. I claim all my hopes and desires be made real, to be realized, to be made manifest. I claim abundance of all good things. And so it is. It's been a pleasure to have this time to guide you and facilitate this beginning and initiation into this new year. And I hope that you share with me your journey. I would love to know how things are going, and equally reach out when you feel stuck or you have questions. I'm here for you. But I hope that you enjoy this Visioning Workbook, that you get a lot out of it, and that this video also helps you to stay motivated, and that you can keep going back and replaying this as well. From my heart to your heart, to the heart of the universe, may you love yourself, love your day, and love your life.